Today, I am so excited that we have Miss Stephanie Perry on. Diva, travel empress, I call her. She's the queen of travel, and if you need to know any information about living overseas, this is your person. When I first talked to Stephanie, this is our second time back to the podcast, and I'm really grateful that she and her team thought of us. She was bopping around the world. She was house sitting, bopping around the world, and telling people how they can house sit and bop around the world. And since then, she has built a global community of almost 30,000 Black women,
That's
has
right.
co-produced an Exodus Summit, has an incredible partner, Rashida Dow, who is not here with us, but she's a powerhouse woman herself. And today we're going to talk about my favorite subject, which is travel. There's nothing more powerful than a Black woman being able to see herself on the outside of these American streets. So we're going to talk about all the things, but first I have to ask you, Stephanie, how are you and where are you?
I'm so glad to be here. Hi, Monica.
Hi.
I'm in Bogotá, Colombia, and I'm actually in my own home. For the first time in 10 years, I'm
Wow.
in my a place that is mine. Um, and it's been awesome. It's been expensive. And it's been super fun to set up shop in a new country for the first time after 10 years of bopping around and house sitting and Airbnbs. Bogota's really been welcoming and warm, so I'm glad to be here.
So of all the places you've been, because I know you've been around the world a million times, times two, times three, times four, what excited you about being in Colombia and setting roots there?
I knew before I even came to Colombia that I would like it because Black women just love Colombia. But most of the time they go to some other cities. Bogota is higher altitude, it's chillier. It's not what you think of when you think of Colombia most of the time. But when I got here, people were kind to me. The city, even though it's a big city, it's still the neighborhoods are so personal and like self-contained, like my main beef with Atlanta, which is not a question you asked me, but let me tell you, my beef with Atlanta is
Of
it's hard
all
to
the
do.
beefs we can have with Atlanta, like
I
we
have a
like this
few,
on
but
Atlanta.
it's like Atlanta is a city where you need to go from one side of the city to the other to do things. And,
Yeah.
Bogota is the exact opposite. Those small little neighborhoods have everything you need inside of them. It's a nice green city
Mhm.
and their mountain views. And it was just like a place where when I walked in, when I first came to the city, I was like, oh yeah, this is my kind of place. This is a place where I can set up shop here, be welcomed here, be in community with people here, and not always be the stranger, the foreigner. Yeah, it ticked off my boxes.
Now, where are you from in the States?
I'm from Delaware, and my
Okay.
parents still live in Dover, Delaware. But I
And
did
it,
grow up in Ohio too.
okay, so you're a Midwestern, Northeastern girl.
That's
So
right.
did Bogota feel comfortable to you from that aspect of feeling close to home, or is it a whole different type of vibe?
It's very different because I'm not from the city, right? It feels very different.
Hmm.
Delaware doesn't have a real but like things like public transportation, things that you get from living in a major city.
Hmm.
Delaware has, but not on this scale. So it's
Okay.
it's very different. It doesn't feel home in that way. It feels home in the way of people
Hmm.
are nice here. And people are kind and they say good afternoon, good morning, good evening, which is a very Delaware thing, right? We say hello when we walk past people. My parents do anyway, right?
Hmm.
But when you walk past people, and this is a place also where you say good morning when you walk past a stranger on the street. So maybe, yeah, so maybe the people are familiar, even if the location is not.
So Bogota is a urban city?
Yes,
Okay.
it's big. It's big. I think, I don't know. I don't know how many millions of people in the city, but many more than I'm used to because I don't even know if there's a million people in my entire state. right?
Right.
And here they am in a city with, I don't know, maybe 8 million people or something like
Okay.
that. A lot of people inside of this, just this city.
Now you have been doing this for 10 years, bopping around the world.
Yeah.
And now you have set roots. But let's go back to when you first decided to leave, not just on vacation, but I'm going to live in a space and live in a space and see what I like.
Yeah.
What sparked that decision, and what did you have to prepare for?
I left for what I thought was 1 year in 2015, September 21st, 2015. So we're recording this just after my 10th anniversary of leaving, right? So I left for 1 year just because I wanted to see some stuff. I just wanted to see the world. I wanted to see all the things that were on my screensavers at work, right? I wanted to go to Thailand. I wanted to go to Cambodia. Wanted to see things. It wasn't until after I left that I realized that I wasn't going to be able to return because I wasn't the same person. I
Mhm.
left and I was like, oh, I don't want to go back to the life that I feel like you have to kind of live in the United States. But to prepare to live for a year, to leave for a year, I just needed money.
Mhm.
Back then in 2015 dollars, I needed $14,400. It took me 15 months to save that amount up. And I chose to get rid of everything. I sold all my stuff. I got rid of everything before I left, even though I only had enough money for 1 year.
Mhm.
I knew that no matter what I was returning to, I wasn't returning to the exact same life in the exact same house in the exact same city. So prep for me was get the money together, get
Mhm.
rid of everything that's tying you to this place, and get a kernel of an idea for what you might do long term. An idea for how you may try to live going forward.
Now, what was the first city you chose to go to when you left?
I went to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia,
Okay.
because in my
Wait
research,
a minute. I didn't expect that.
is that
Most
weird?
girls want to go to Paris. Like,
I was on a budget, girl.
right.
I was on a
Yeah.
budget. $40 a day is what I had. That was
Okay.
for food, that was for transportation, that was for accommodation, that was for tours, that was for souvenirs, right?
Okay.
$40 a
So
day.
you
So
were
it
clear about how much money you had, and then you researched where it would stretch.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
And the answer was Southeast Asia,
Okay.
right? I
Hmm.
felt like I could go to Southeast Asia and not have to come home early because I ran out of money.
Okay.
And I was right. I was right. Yeah. So I went to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. If you in the travel space, Kuala Lumpur has a wonderful reputation in the travel and move abroad space. Um, their food is amazing, or you're trying to build a business or something. Fast internet is really helpful. Their language, it's a place where English speakers can learn the language. In some Asian countries, I don't know how you do it, right? You look the letters, I don't like how would I ever be able to learn this language?
Right.
But Bahasa Malaysia is a language that English speakers can learn. The alphabet, they use the same alphabet that we use, or a similar alphabet.
Hmm.
Um, and they had at the time a residency visa called Malaysia My Second Home. So it was just a welcoming place for people like me who wanted to try someplace else out and didn't have a lot of money and, wanted to see some things. But what happened was I got there and I realized that I was not prepared for the weather, the temperature.
Okay.
It was so hot. I looked on paper. This is one of those things that you don't know. So on paper, the temperature would be like 92 degrees and 92% humidity. And I said, I know what that feels like, right? I've been to Houston. I was stationed in Texas when I was in the Army. I've been to New Orleans in the summertime, right?
Okay.
I know what that feels like, but I did not know what that felt like because humidity is relative.
Yeah.
92% humidity in New Orleans is not the same as 92% humidity in Malaysia. And girl, I thought I can't make it. I cannot.
Is Malaysia inland or is it by the sea?
It's no, it's on the water
Okay.
and so it's
Not
humid
Malaysia, but the
and
city.
low altitude, right? You're right on the sea level.
Okay.
And ooh, I couldn't take it. I could I couldn't take it. Plus, it's a Muslim country, and so they recommend that women wear more clothing, right? We're
Hmm.
not wearing little mini skirts and tank tops. Wear a little
Hmm.
more clothing. I couldn't do it. And so I landed in Malaysia knowing that I was going to bop around, but I thought I was going to settle in Malaysia after the fact. After that year was over, I was going to find a way to stay there. And look, 2 days, and I was like, forget this whole plan. Something else is gonna have to work out because can't, I cannot, I can't live there. I can't live like that.
Now, a lot of women, when they have a desire to travel, but they're confined to their obligations, or they have family and they have children, what are some of the ways that, because you've been doing this for 10 years, what are some
Uh-huh.
suggestions that you have for people who want to leave but feel tethered to their life in America?
Sometimes those obligations want to come with you, right? Like we think that those obligations are holding us in one place, and sometimes you can just take them with you. Your children or your parents or your somebody that you know that you care for, you may actually like being with them in another place.
Mhm.
If you need a break from the United States, right? If you need some time away from what that means, being a Black woman in the United States, probably also so do some of those people in your life that you think you can't leave behind. Sometimes, right? Those very obligations, the kids or the parents or the spouse, sometimes they want to go with you,
Mhm.
right? Other times, it is a matter of finding a different way to navigate this, finding a different solution. Women inside of my community are very pro. I'm gonna say this, okay, I'm gonna say it. In my community, women are very pro nursing home, right? They're like, listen, I've been the caregiver for this parent. I can't be the caregiver anymore for the parent, sometimes the spouse, right? They're going into a nursing home to get good care, right? I'm not gonna put them in the worst place I can find. I'm gonna put them in the
Mhm.
best place possible, get them good care so that I can also go out and care for myself, right? Sometimes the answer is get somebody else to do it. Like literally. Literally,
Yeah,
right? Sometimes the
yeah.
answer, get somebody else to do it. My mom, for the longest time, was like, "Oh, her schedule had to work around the church, and she wasn't even the pastor. She's a minister at the church, but she's not the pastor,
Mhm.
right?" But now she'll be like, "Oh, let me, you're going where, right? Oh, you're going to Mexico? I'm going to Mexico. Somebody else can do it." Some of those obligations, some of those obligations were never meant to be ours alone. They were never meant to be our sole thing to do. We're
Mhm.
supposed to be operating in community with other people and in connection with other people, in conjunction. We're not supposed to be the sole person who does some of the things that we're the sole person who does. Right. And so this is a good opportunity, whether you want to travel for a little bit or you want to get out in the world and see how long you can stay. Right. Some of this is sometimes that's a really good opportunity for other people to step up, for other people to take some of that load off of your plate.
Now say that again.
Hmm. Yeah.
Sometimes you have to step back so others can step up. That's important.
Yes.
That's important for us to learn as Black women. We don't have to
It's
do it all.
it's crucial. It's crucial to learn. If we want to live our lives fully and in a healthy way,
Mhm.
right? It's crucial to learn.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So what do you wish you had known before you left the country?
So I'm gonna give you a couple answers. The first one, I wish I had known how much I was gonna love it.
Okay.
Right? So I was nervous. I was very, very afraid. Right? This is a big deal. I'm going to countries where I don't speak the language, where I don't know any people, where I don't really know how things operate.
Mm.
And so it was really scary when it was time for me to turn in my 2 weeks notice. I was a hospital pharmacy technician. And when it was time for me to turn in my 2 weeks notice, I couldn't do it, even though I'd quit many a job before. I couldn't do it. And then I went home and the next day I was like, I got to do it today, right? I got it. She's going to be making the schedule for the next few weeks. I got to put in my notice today. I was very, very afraid. So I wish I had known how rewarding it was going to be, how much it was going to pay off.
Hmm.
Not because I mean, I don't know that I would have done anything any differently because I still got on the plane and left. But I wish I had had a better idea of how amazing the experience was going to be and how worth it was going to be. I didn't have a whole lot of doubt, but other people in my life did.
Hmm.
And so it would have been nice to have a counter to that, right? To their doubt and fear. um, what is now, so even though it was 10 years ago, the internet has changed
Hmm.
and people are more sharing and more open with information. When I left, I don't even know that most people would have known what a podcast was. I listened to some podcasts
Okay.
to prepare myself to go. But 10 years ago, I don't know if podcast was in our everyday lexicon.
Mm-mm.
And now everybody knows how to share information and how to receive information from people who are out here sharing, people like you. And so um, it was a different time when I had to just feel like I think this is the right thing without a whole lot of confirmation from other people.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so I wish there had been some of that, more of that. I wish I had known about house sitting. When I first left, I didn't know about house sitting. And so I didn't know about getting a free place to stay in other people's homes. That would have been a nice thing to know about, to take some extra money pressure off. My money did last me for a year, surprisingly, because I'll blow some money in a minute. But my money, it did last. It did
Right.
last. But I wish I had known about house sitting so that when things got tight, I could have been like, well, I can always do this. I don't have to worry. Yeah, those are a couple of things I wish I had known back then.
You're the first person I ever heard talk about house sitting. And I was like, well, what
Mhm.
is that?
Yep.
I wish I had known when I started traveling. Oh, you just go stay somewhere because I'm booking hotels. I didn't even know there wasn't an Airbnb situation. There wasn't outside of academia, there was no, house switching type of situation. So I was like, what is house sitting? How did you find out about that? And tell me about some of the places you've sat.
After that first year, when I came back home with no money, like literally no money, used up all the money for my travel, I was like, you know what? It was great seeing Southeast Asia, but I don't feel like I saw the world. So how do I
Mm.
travel with no money? And I literally Googled, how do I travel with no money? And Google pointed me to an article about house sitting. It pointed me to an article by oh, I'll remember her name in a second. Anyway, she
Mhm.
was a woman in her 40s. I was 42 by then, and she was a woman in her late 30s or 40s, and she was house sitting some. And so that's how I heard about it. I'm so proud to be the first person that other Black women have heard about house sitting from. I'm really proud of that because house sitting is a travel equalizer, or it makes travel possible for so many more people, and even long-term travel or travel to the other side of the world, or even staying right in your city and not paying rent for a while, right? It makes a lot of things possible for people. And I'm really proud. I'm really proud of being the person that so many Black women heard about this from.
You're one of the people I consider the pioneer of the, without saying I could find a different word, but the exodus of Black women,
Mhm,
because
mhm.
this is an opportunity that has been afforded to a lot of other people,
Yep.
but it was nothing that people included us in or anybody was talking about it. When I started traveling in my 20s across the world, there weren't even Black women traveling unless it was for business. And
Hmm.
most of the time it was men. So to see so many Black women, like, I'm on my way to Bali, I'm on my way to, Mauritius. I'm like, wow, this is incredible. Like I'm excited for that because I know what it does for you to experience yourself outside of this nation. When people
Absolutely.
don't see the qualifiers, I'll say, that they put on us. What unraveled in you when you started experiencing yourself outside of this country?
So much, so much. I appreciate you calling me a pioneer. There is a movement. There is an Exodus movement, a Black Sit movement, a Leave the Country movement. And I am a face of that, a face of that movement. But I do a lot of talking, right? But I'm really proud. I'm really I appreciate that. What everything unraveled in me. So I thought I was leaving the country to see some beautiful places. I wasn't on a mission to find myself. I wasn't thinking about like, I'm going to go out here and I'm going to go find myself. But man, I really met myself out there. So you said travel gives us an opportunity to experience ourselves. And that's right. Without those you get to meet people and move through the world without people really thinking anything when they see you, right? Whereas in the United States, when people see a black woman, they have thoughts. They have an idea of who you are, who you should be. And this is any kind, all people, right? This is
Mhm.
the way all people engage with black women, including other black women,
Mhm.
right? Who you should be, what you should be doing, how much excellence you should be moving in, how you should be looking, seeking whose approval you should value, right? Whereas when you leave the United States, people are not thinking about you. On one hand, they're really not thinking about you. On the other hand, there are people who are very excited to see a black woman when I get places. Sometimes I'll be like, do I look like a famous person here? Because why are they so excited to see me? I said I need to sit down and Google some of the black stars in Colombia because why are people so happy to see me when I walk into their little restaurant? But so people have maybe they have some idea or some thought about black women, but it's not the same, and it's not the same pressure, not
Mhm.
the same anti it's not the same misogynoir that we're used to experiencing. Not that that doesn't exist around the world, but it's just different. And so you get to be a person. You also get to be an American. I get to be an American for the first time ever. When I leave the country, I'm an American. They
Mhm.
clock me in a heartbeat, right? They know I have American dollars to spend. They know I speak English. They know good and well when they tell me the price, they tell me the price in if they know it in dollars, they tell me the price in dollars wherever I am in the world,
Mhm.
which is the funniest thing. I'm like, this is Vietnam. How do you know what this costs in US dollars? No, they know. So you get to be an American for the first time, but you get to take off those pressures. You get to take off the cape. People don't expect me to help them lift their suitcase into the compartment or people really in the United States expect Black women to be the help and
Mhm.
to be the
Servants.
workhorse, the burden bearer.
Mhm.
And other around places, no, they don't. I'm a woman. They expect me to do woman things, and that's it. And
And
I
men even
appreciate
step
that.
up differently.
That's
Men even
right.
step up differently just because you are a woman. Oh, let me get that for you. Or they
Absolutely.
automatically open the door and there's no friction, there's no heat, there's no ideas. It's just let me open the door for her because that's what I do.
Hmm.
So it's a beautiful
That's exactly right.
experience.
And if you start to do what they think they should do, they're like, "What is wrong with you?" Yeah, in their face, in their reaction. I'm doing that. Let me do this. You sit down. When I moved from my Airbnb into this apartment, I moved via Ubers, right? I would just call an Uber, pack up a whole bunch of stuff in the place I was staying in. I only had maybe 4 suitcases, plus I had done a bunch of shopping in that Airbnb,
Mhm.
linens and stuff. So I moved via Uber, and my Uber drivers were always like, "Put that down. I'm lifting this." Right? What is wrong with you?
Wow.
Let me lift this. Then they get to the apartment building. The security guard is like, What are you doing? I'll put this on the elevator, and then he'll get. Sometimes they would run up the steps and meet me upstairs and take it off the elevator. Right? Like, chill, relax. Nobody
Mm.
expects me to be their beast of burden when I leave the United States. That gives me the opportunity to see, well, who am I then? Right? If I'm not the workhorse, if I'm not Black excellence, right? If I'm not the worker, period, who am I? You get to really meet yourself and find out what really matters to you and what are the things that all these years you thought mattered to you that really was just America telling you, here's who you're supposed to be and what you're supposed to care about.
Ooh, you have preached a word, honey. You have preached a word because it's challenging being a Black
Yeah.
woman in America. It's very
Yeah.
challenging because of the expectations and the opinions
Hmm.
and the ideas that people have of you. And it's just an assumption because people don't know who we are And we
Right.
have to learn who we are. And like I've heard you say before, we don't get that true experience to let all of that go until you leave,
Until you leave.
until you leave and see how other people see you. Now, you are the queen of, people always say, monetize your life, monetize your life. You have monetized your life. Not only have you monetized your life, you have built a community, like I said, of almost 30,000 women. When did you decide that it's time for me to bring people along with me?
I started sharing maybe 2 years in on YouTube, right? I started my YouTube channel, but I really thought that I was sharing this for six, seven, eight women in my life who were eventually going to be like, now, how did you do that? Tell me how you saved up the money and how did you travel and how did you start house sitting, right? I thought I was making my YouTube channel to share with a handful of women. I'll just put it here. That way I don't have to keep repeating myself. And other people showed up. Other Black women showed up and was like, now tell me about this. Okay, now tell me how you did that. They were the thing about having a community of and for Black women is you don't have to guess about what people are interested in. You don't have to guess about what people want to hear about, what they don't want to hear about. They will tell you. And so the community showed up, even though I don't know that I really expected community originally to form out of me sharing this information. I just thought it would be a resource, a repository of some information, but I didn't expect it to become a full-fledged community
Okay.
like it has, which is amazing. Um, yeah, so I started talking around 2019 on my YouTube channel, and being very clear that this is information for Black women,
Mhm.
right? I felt like we needed it. We needed it. We needed the career break. We needed the sabbatical. We needed to do some full-time nomadic living and see what that was like. And people showed up. YouTube helped, right? YouTube helped by suggesting me to Black women. And Black women showed up and shared. And that's when I realized that it was community, right? Because I would do a video or do a live stream and I'd recognize some names. I know these names from before. They came last week. They came last month. They're commenting. And then they started talking to each other in the chat, right? Which is a thing that you don't get on a lot of other places. It's hard, in blogs, people don't can't really form community like that. But in the chat, people started talking to each other, and I was like, oh, this is beyond what I thought it was going to be. Right. Now let's see. Let's ride the wave and see what happens. Now the Exodus Summit community, more than 26,000 women in that space. Thousands of women have attended the actual Exodus Summit or online conferences, and thousands of women and their families are out in the world now. Because one day I was like, let me sit down and share this information for these handful of women who I hope will quit their jobs.
And how did you keep it going? Because I know that you were living your own life.
Yeah.
You know, you were bopping around the world and doing your thing. And how did you say, I'm going to keep moving this forward?
I kept my responsibilities relatively small in the beginning.
Okay.
For me, all I needed to do was make a video or do a live stream once a week and not overcommit. I think in the beginning, if I had overcommitted and overpromised myself, and we're going to do this and I'm going to do that, and then it would be hard. Instead, I sometimes for long stretches in that in the last few years. It's just me showing up on a Saturday at 10 a.m. and talking for 90 minutes about whatever I have to
Hmm.
talk about, whatever people have questions about, and then going away. I didn't start, so you said monetizing. I didn't start out with a real plan on how to monetize.
Hmm.
And I think if I had had a plan, it probably would have been too much. Right. My original plan probably would have been too big, too much work, and I would have quit. Instead, my plan was to do as little as possible. Show up and do as little as I possibly can to keep this going, keep it alive. And then when I have the time and energy, then try something bigger. And also try something bigger and then let it go when I want to let it go. Early 2020, I started a community And for Black women who were planning their sabbaticals, separate from the Exodus community, I started my own community. And actually, this was before the Exodus Summit. And COVID was like, this doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to have a community for Black women planning a sabbatical right now because we don't know when we're going to be able to travel again. So I let it go
Mhm.
instead of letting it drag me under and really be, a hardship and be stressed out about it. Have these women paying me for this community, and every month all they're saying is, I don't know when I can go to Southeast Asia because I don't know when they're going to open the doors back up or
Mhm.
whatever. Instead, I close the doors on it. So being flexible, I think, has helped keep this alive.
Mhm.
Whereas if I had been more rigid, it, I don't think it would have worked out. I think because I'm always in a different country, or, and because I'm always prioritizing one thing or another, I think it would have been really hard if I had had a grand plan in the beginning. Instead, I just let the current take me.
Where did you get to that Zen sensibility of just going with the flow? Because I know that we've talked about excellence and having to do it right and having to do it perfectly. And you are a longtime advocate of do less. Where
Yes.
did that come from, and how has it shifted inside of you?
Thankfully, I think I just have enough examples in my younger life where the thing that if I'd had it my way, it would have been so much worse. From small to large examples. I remember the last time I was house shopping with my dad. I'd gotten out of the army. I was early 30s, came back to Delaware looking for a house. If I had gotten what I wanted, it would have been awful. I ended up in a neighborhood that was amazing with wonderful neighbors. I ended up with a driveway when I never lived in the city, so I had never didn't understand the importance of having off-street parking, right? My list was not the list of things that I needed. My list was the list of things I thought about, right? But I didn't think about some of the things that I needed. And so I have enough examples in my life where things worked out so much better for me because I didn't get what I wanted, because
Mhm.
I wasn't the one, because I didn't have to control it.
Mhm.
And so that's how I try to just move through my life. I there if I even down to the community, right? If I had said, here's what my YouTube channel is, I would not have thought to include community because who knew you could have community on the internet like that,
Mhm.
right? And so it would have been so much different and so much worse than me just being like, well, what do y'all want to do? And them saying, oh, we want to have a meetup. Let's have a meetup. And me being like, okay, well, let's try it. Let's see what happens. I think control is a trauma response,
Mhm.
especially for people. Yeah, I think control is kind of a trauma response because who has control over anything in reality, right? In real life, who controls anything? And in nature, and so it's just having to be in control has never benefited me. So I really so that's why how I was able to say, let's go with the flow. Let's let the current take me because I feel like that's the easiest way. I don't want to have to fight against things that are naturally happening.
Mhm.
And I don't want to have to force things that don't want to be. I want the ease. I want the flow. And it's worked out.
That's beautiful. That's important because we are the society of to-do lists and get it done
Yes.
and be perfect and perfectionism. Now, Rashida's not here with us today. Tell her I look forward to speaking with her one day.
I'll tell her. Okay, yes.
She's a hoot, first of all. How did
She's
you all meet and, put your alliance together? Because she's in her side of the world, you're on your side of the world, but yet you meet with this beautiful partnership,
Mhm.
dispelling the myth that Black women can't work together, first of
That's
all.
right. That's right.
And you all have very different opinions about life and how life works, and you express it. I think that's a beautiful thing as well, but yet you still come together for this community and you're continuing to build it together.
Rashida is my business partner in Exodus Summit, and we met because she took her sabbatical and kind of documented it on Instagram and YouTube, and I did the same. And one woman, Courtney Georgie Ellis, who followed us both, said, you two should meet." So she did a little introduction of us, and Rashida interviewed me on her YouTube channel. And when during that conversation, I was like, I like her. There's a resonance here. She's a little younger than I am. She's from the West Coast, right? There's some differences, but there was some resonance. She said in that conversation, she said the phrase, she said life is generous when talking about something. I don't know. And I was like, this is the kind of person that I want to have as my friend. So I just made her my friend. I was like, I don't know if you know this, but we're friends now. And then one day I was like, let's try this partnership. Let's try to make something together.
Mhm.
And thankfully she said yes. We I'm not a person who has a history of finishing things. I'm a person who has a vision,
Right.
right? I got vision, but I'm not a person who has a history of seeing things through to the end.
Mhm.
So none of the things that I've done, none of the Exodus Summit things that we've done together, those things wouldn't exist if Rashida hadn't said yes. Because I'll have an idea, okay? I'll have ideas, but then idea's gone by the wayside because I don't want to do the work. Right? So having a partner who is the neither one of us are really like excited to do the thing, but having a person who is more conscientious than I
Mhm.
am
Mhm.
has made things so much better inside of the Exodus Summit space. Things exist because I'll be like, "Do you want to do this thing?" And she'll be like, "Oh, here's how we actually get this thing done."
Okay.
It's been a fantastic partnership. We on the online space, sometimes you think about things as solo because you're in your room by yourself typing on a keyboard, but it doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to be the only person doing the thing to get it done. Just like you can put your parents in a nursing home, okay? You can also get work collaborate with other people so that you don't have to do the heavy lifting. You don't have to do things by you don't have to be the only one doing the heavy lifting. Y'all lift together, leverage. Um, I have experiences throughout my life of Black women reaching out and being so open and receptive with me. I know that that's not everyone's experience,
Mhm.
but I hope that everyone will give it another chance. All Black women will give Black women another chance and another chance because there's nothing like it. There's nothing like being in community with Black women. We are the best people, I'm convinced, right? Literally the best people on the planet. And so being in community with us is only a way to live better
Mhm.
for us, for Black women. And so I'm so glad to have Rashida as my business partner. And I'm so glad that the Exodus Summit community of Black women continues to prove us right over and over and over again.
And you all are in the middle of planning your new summit, which is October 10th through the 15th. How many has it been, and who have been some of your previous presenters,
This is
speakers?
the sixth year for Exodus Summit. Exodus Summit is our online conference. This is year number six. It's impressive. I'm excited. I can't even believe it. I'm like, I've done a thing this many times, a hard thing this many times. It's online October 10th through 13th. We bring in Black women speakers to teach other Black women how to do the thing. So this year we're focusing on how to make the money to live abroad. And so we're bringing in speakers to help make the money to live abroad. Um, we've had a lot of so Dr. Joy Harden Bradford, the founder of Therapy for Black Girls, was a keynote speaker of ours a couple of years ago, and she introduced us to the idea of the possibility model. How you model possibilities for other people, and you also make sure you're in community with people who can model the possibilities for you.
Mm.
That was a wonderful session. We were talking about the full like idea of moving abroad, the full everything it takes, and we sometimes overlook the mindset part of the move
Mhm.
abroad. and the community part of the move abroad. Sometimes when you think about moving, you think about leaving behind everybody that you're leaving behind, but you're moving to a place where there's a whole bunch of people there and there's community there if you look for it, or sometimes if you build it yourself. So
Mhm.
Dr. Joy Harden Bradford was an awesome speaker. We had Tabitha Brown came and spoke just about her own experiences from going from having a vision to executing that vision and holding on to that vision for herself. She was a speaker previously at Exodus Summit. Libria Jones has spoken at Exodus Summit a couple of times about the logistics of remote work, right? Finding remote work, finding the thing that can take you around the world. Those are some women who've spoken pretty recently in past summits. 6 years, we have a lot of speakers.
I'm
Our first
sure.
summit, our first summit had at least 40 something speakers. Our first summit was a week long. We didn't know what we were doing. It was too much, too much. So
Hmm.
we've had a lot of women come and talk to the women in the Exodus Summit community, but it's all paid off, right? Because there are women all over the world today because of what they've learned from those women who have come to speak.
Now, remote living is a new conversation for Black women. It's so amazing how these things have been going on for years,
Yeah.
but we are finally, I think, because of the internet and technology, we're getting access to things that I'll just say it, we've been locked out of.
Yeah, that's right. That's
We have
correct.
literally been locked out of it. And remote living is something that you do. How do you manage your all of your entities? I'm sure you have a team, but how do you manage all of your entities as someone who wants to live a life of ease and
Mhm.
joy and bop around the world? What's your formula?
Delegation, knowing what things I want to do. So my business, Exodus Summit is a business that Rashida and I run together, but I also run my own, right? Knowing what things. So today we use the term zone of genius a lot in the world. What things are things that I myself should do, and what are things that somebody else can do, and what are things that I don't have to do at all, right?
Mhm.
Being cutthroat about that, because either I'm cutthroat about that or I'm cutting out my own peace of mind, cutting out my own rest, cutting out the things that bring me joy. So like being really cutthroat about the things that I just don't do in my business. I have a TikTok, but I don't do TikTok and I don't have TikTok on my phone. And a lot of people in 2025 would be like, you have to be on TikTok. You have to. It's like, it's just a requirement. I don't do those things. Yeah. And then other times, because Black women can do, there's a Black woman who can do whatever it is. I'm so glad and so proud to have a team that is Black women. So I have contractors. I have people who come and do this thing. Sometimes it's for a season. So during Exodus Summit season, our team gets pretty large. And then after Exodus Summit seasons, usually me, Rashida, and Francis, right? We keep um, we keep a clear idea of why we do the things inside of our business and then who is responsible to do them. And then nobody feels like she has to take over or be involved in someone else's thing. Once it's delegated, right?
Mhm.
If I don't do it, I don't do it. I've never read a speaker contract for I don't know. I don't know. Rashida does that, right? Rashida has never made a graphic. She don't know, right? What colors do we use on our things? What are the hex codes? She don't
Right.
know, right? Delegate it or just divide the work up and then also leave it.
Mhm.
This goes back to the control thing. I really do not have a control issue. I'm learning. I'm hearing myself. This goes back to the control thing. That's not my responsibility. I don't even know. I am not going to look at it. I'm not going to see it. Time is precious. We only have so much time. And I'm not going to spend it doing things that don't need to be done. Yeah.
The one thing I love about your summit is that you have known people and you have people that maybe we've never heard of before, which I
Yeah,
think is great. I get tired of hearing the same voices all the time. And I
that's
think that
right.
there are brilliant women everywhere. That's why I have this podcast. There are brilliant women that often go unheard that you've never heard of before, but they have a whole big life to share. Who are some of the people that you are bringing in this season of the Exodus Summit?
Oh, that's good. So this season, we have a few women from inside of the Exodus Summit community. Coach Vet Jet is teaching a session on um, certifications that you can get online that help you find a better remote job. So we have a couple of women from inside of the summit. Um, my brain, I think I can get, let me pull out
I saw Rachel
some notes.
Rogers.
Rachel Rogers, that's right. Our keynote speaker is Rachel Rogers. She's also my coach. She's my coach in the business world. She's one of the reasons that I'm able to be like cutthroat about responsibilities and
She don't
delegation.
play.
You
She's
know,
like, we all
listen,
need to be millionaires. She does not play.
we're
She's
going to
like,
generate some money. We're going to generate some money and we're not going to break ourselves down doing it,
yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah, super excited about having Rachel Rogers be our keynote speaker. Arlen Hamilton. So all I can think of are the names that people know. So Arlen Hamilton is doing a session on memberships. We know Arlen Hamilton, but some women from inside of our community. Shakira is coming to do a session on part-time work for full-time pay. Shakira has transitioned from a high up employee to a contractor
Okay.
so that she can work on contracts for part of the year and then have enough money to live the rest of the year and go to Mexico and not be worried about them people, right? So working part of the year, but making more money than she made as a full-time employee.
Mm.
Yeah.
So everybody has a different journey of how they're going overseas and how they're becoming global citizens. And I think that it's beautiful that you pick a focus and then you give different perspectives because everything isn't for everybody.
Mm-mm.
But you can pick up a little bit in each conversation that will help you move forward. So you can create your own game plan
That's
to
right.
move, or maybe just take, maybe it's just starting with a sabbatical, maybe it's just starting with house sitting, maybe it's an extended vacation. But I love that you all also offer previous seasons to
Mhm.
your tribe so that, well, maybe you're not at the point of making money. Maybe you're just like, how do I even think about getting there?
Yes, that's
How do I
right.
even think about getting there? So I just want to say it has Stephanie has been very generous with us. And so I want to let you all know that if you have a desire to learn more about it, you want to go to blackwomenamplified.com/freedom, because I
Ooh,
think travel is freedom, honey. And you can get more information about the Exodus Summit. And I just want to say to you, Stephanie, coming across in everything that you've said, how people find you is how I found you on YouTube.
mhm.
And that was the first time I heard about house sitting and a sabbatical. I was like, what is a sabbatical? Oh, you
Mhm.
mean to take all? Oh, all right. So I can do it this way. I don't have to take a week off and rush back to work. I can take an extended period of time. And there are ways for me to do it. So I have seen your growth. I have seen how you flowered, but you have maintained who you are as Stephanie Perry, which I think is beautiful. And I love that you have, I think the last time we talked, you had about 13,000 people in your community.
Okay,
And now
yes.
it's 26,000. And that's just a couple of years ago.
Yep.
So you are doing the work, you and Rashida are doing the work, and your community is flourishing. And you are helping Black women not only see themselves differently, but to heal
Yes.
and heal from a perspective that you can't get in therapy.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't get in therapy. So, how can our listeners follow you across the web? And what is the one thing that you want Black women to know before they take this journey across the world?
One thing I want you to know is that it's for you. If you have the desire, if you hear people talking about they took a sabbatical and they went here, or they took a sabbatical and they stayed home, or they left and they moved their family to whatever place. If you hear that and you start to feel little feelings, little envy, little jealousy, little I wish I could, that means it's for you. And there are some Black women who have solved the same problems that you have to solve to get that end result, right? There's somebody inside of our community probably who has already navigated this thing. So Monica said, it's not that you're not going to find a cookie cutter answer. You're not going to, but you probably will find some women who have solved the very problems that you'll have to solve to get this end result. If what you want is to move your family to Paris or Portugal or Kuala Lumpur, right? You, the desire to do it means that it's a thing for you to do. And so get in community with other people who are doing those things. So the answer is, how do you find me? The answer is you can find me in my community, exodussummit.com/community. We moved off of Facebook, moved into another space. I know Black women don't like Facebook like that. We're off of Facebook into our, you can find me there. And then I'm on YouTube, of course, as Stephanie Perry. Please, yeah, I'm on YouTube as Stephanie Perry. And then if you're at all interested in making the money to move abroad, right? Whether it's through freelancing, through virtual assistant work, through part-time work for full-time pay, through trading. We have a session on trading with Terry Igioma. If you're interested in making the money for your move abroad, Monica's link is blackwomenamplified.com/freedom. Is that right?
Mhm.
Use her link. Come over, look at the sessions available for you in Exodus Summit 2025. If you see a session that makes you perk up a little bit, oh, I think that would be an interesting way for me to do this. Come on over, come to the summit. You'll really listen. If you enjoy this conversation, you'll love the women in the Exodus Summit community. You'll love the women who teach, the speakers, and you'll love the women who are attending because it's more of this, right? It's more generosity and giving. You listen to this podcast because the speakers come on and they're open and they're giving and they're generous. It's more of that, right? You love this podcast because you get to think about things in a new way. You don't have to just keep on keeping on, right? You don't have to just keep doing things the way the United States and Black excellence tell you. You can think about things for yourself, come up with your own answers, your own, and from a new perspective. It's more of that in the Exodus Summit. So go to the link, go to the show notes, wherever Monica has dropped a link. Come on over to Exodus Summit. I'm saying specifically to use her link because that is a way that you can also thank her, right? It's a way that you can make sure that she gets a little thank you when you register for our event. When you come to our thing, she gets a little commission using her link with no extra cost to you because podcasting is hard, okay? Putting this together every week is hard. Getting guests, doing the doing the actual research, recording the podcast, editing and putting it up in the world is work. And that's a way that you can thank her using her link to register for the Exodus Summit.
I told y'all Black women are dope. We're the coolest. We
Absolutely.
are the coolest. And when we support each other, not only does the world shift, but we shift as human beings. And Stephanie has always been very kind and very generous. She's very outspoken, as you can see. And but she's willing to share who she is with the world. And that has changed, that has opened up a portal for other women to do the same. So, Stephanie, thank you so much for your time, your generosity, um, and just being you. Thank you.
Thank
And
you. My
keep doing what you're
pleasure.
doing.
Same to you. And you too. You too. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Oh, I appreciate you too. Thank you so much for being on the Black Women Amplified podcast.